Beneath the plum blossom trees, a boy and a girl sat down. The girl, who had baked cookies that morning, asked if he would like them. Taking a bite, the boy complimented the cookies, calling them surprisingly delicious. Pleased with his response, the girl was glad he enjoyed them while the boy looked at her. Curious about his gaze, the girl asked what was wrong. The boy explained that on a day with perfect weather for a date, eating sweets made by the person he loved made him feel like the luckiest man in the world. Meanwhile, the Rangers were engaged in a fierce battle with the evil society soldiers down the cliff. As Fudo complimented the girl for her beauty, she found it hard to handle. Embarrassed, she asked him to stop staring, mentioning she wasn't used to it. Fudo found her reaction cute and approached her, saying he had a serious favor to ask. Referring to his research, he suggested couples were supposed to hold hands, proposing they give it a try. The girl, surprised, said it was too soon, as it was only their third date. Fudo humorously cited statistics, saying hand-holding often happened on the second date. Despite her surprise, the girl slowly extended her hand. Their intimate moment was interrupted by the arrival of the Blue Rangers, causing Fudo and the girl to shift to a fighting stance. The situation unfolded as a taboo relationship between Fudo Ikawa and Dasumi Magahara came to light. Witnessing the unexpected alliance, the Blue Ranger believed there was nothing he could do but leave it to Red. In the encounter, Fudo and Dasumi engaged in hand-holding, which was considered a bold move in their relationship. Reflecting on the event, Dasumi recorded the moment, revealing that interlocking fingers was an advanced effort in their relationship. Fudo cherished the beginning of their unique connection. A week earlier, Gelato 5 prepared for a meeting, arriving at their hall to meet Professor Big Gelato. They discussed the appearance of Reaper Princess, a powerful gecko combatant. The Gelato team, aware of Gecko's world domination plot, was cautioned to engage with Reaper Princess carefully. Responding to an emergency, Gelato 5 rushed to the park, where they confronted the gecko monster, Culverin, Bear, and Reaper Princess. The team, known as Gelato 5, which has red gelato, pink gelato, yellow gelato, and green gelato, showcased their abilities against the villains. Despite the challenges, they triumphed, earning praise from onlookers. Fudo, facing Reaper Princess in a high-spec fight, decided to focus on her while instructing his colleagues to deal with the bear. As the battle intensified, the bear was unexpectedly defeated. The Reaper Princess acknowledged Fudo's skill, expressing admiration for someone who could keep up with her. Promising to meet again, as she left, Fudo was left mesmerized. The scene shifted toward the Gelato HQ as Fudo was doing his regular exercises, and Professor Gelato thought that fighting in the morning and training in the afternoon, as he was a role model for all the heroes with the work. As he continuously did exercise with no break, Professor Gelato asked Fudo if he had anything on his mind, for which he said that there was something on his mind. The professor thought that he was probably mulling over issues of world peace or perhaps the nature of justice. But to his surprise, Fudo said that he was thinking about the woman he loved, which greatly shocked Gelato, as he asked if he had developed a crush, for which he agreed, saying that it was love at first sight, as he had never been in love before now. Gelato asked if he had told her, for which he said that he was a hero, and she and he lived in two different worlds, for which Gelato punched him. He said that, what's there to say, a hero can't fall in love, as he was human, as are the rest of them, and he must tell her, and it's an order. Fudo asked if he was sure, to which he answered yes. Love brought him to the next stage of his life, as he took responsibility for whatever happened, and then he left. Gelato thought that he always thought that his single-minded focus on bodybuilding was sad. But it was good to see he's a red-hot-blooded man. He wondered what kind of woman could it be who had stolen Fudo's heart, as he misunderstood her as a nurse since he liked nurses too. In a shackled factory, Fudo met Reaper Princess, who told him that she was surprised by his invitation to this, but he didn't have to explain, as she knew that he wanted to pick up where they finished. To her surprise, as Fudo did nothing, he told her that he was in love with her, which greatly downed Reaper Princess. Shocked by hearing this, Reaper Princess asked if he had gone nuts, as they were mortal enemies, to which Fudo said that he had got Professor Big Gelato's permission. Reaper Princess said that there was no way he would permit it, but upon hearing that he already had got permission, she got angry, realizing his game. She knew that he would know that she had no experience in such things, and he was teasing her, using that as a pretext for throwing her out of her game. She used her weapon to knock him off, and as Fudo barely dodged, Reaper Princess said that he would pay for it, and no one could ever love her. Dasumi's comrades thought her favorite food was raw bear meat, but Fudo corrected them, revealing she liked pancakes and pasta. Fudo countered rumors, explaining that he researched her likes on social media and clarified that the comments from Protein Man were his, assuring her she wasn't a killing machine. Fudo saw her as a real person. Dasumi, surprised, asked how he knew, and Fudo admitted to doing his research. Convinced, Fudo saw her genuinely as Dasumi fell, and Fudo confessed his feelings. Despite being enemies, Fudo believed they could make it work and asked her to be his girlfriend. Tasumi, initially hesitant, agreed, revealing her true identity. In the present, she warned Fudo to keep their relationship secret. Enjoying each other's company, they hoped for a day they could be open about their relationship. As Yellow Gelato entered, shocked Tasumi accidentally knocked out Fudo. Concerned, Tasumi hoped they'd meet again. Perhaps the day after tomorrow, as the hero and the secret society combatant embarked on their forbidden love journey. The scene shifts 6 months earlier, when the Gelato Rangers were pushed back by the strong Reaper Princess. Fudo came in to engage in a high-octane fight with her. And as the fight intensified, Reaper Princess praised him, stating that he was tougher than the rumors suggested. Mesmerized by her looks, Fudo stared at her. In the present, on the helicopter, reporters broadcasted the current battle between Gelato 5 and Gecko, emphasizing the heroes' fight for the peace of their world. Red Gelato and Reaper Princess faced off, exchanging signs for their next moves. As Fudo blinked his eyes, they shifted their duel to another place. Settling down, Fudo asked Tasumi why they seemed to be a bit further away than usual. Tasumi excused it, stating that it was normal for her. As Fudo approached her, Tasumi told him not to, leading Fudo to misunderstand and think he was rejected. Tasumi clarified that it wasn't like that. She was just really active that day and probably smelled. Fudo found it cute and approached her, swearing never to leave her, no matter how she smelled. Embarrassed, Tasumi wondered why he was so insensitive and expressed her desperation to be with him. Fudo, in turn, said he had never known anyone so charming. He clicked up some pictures of her, expressing his love for when she was angry. Tasumi stopped him, telling him to stop taking photos, as he couldn't share them if he used a camera like that. They took a picture on a smartphone, and as they came closer, their hearts throbbed heavily, realizing they were much closer than ever. Fudo recognized the magic of the camera and that she smelled better than he thought. While having the picture, the Yellow Gelato arrived, announcing that they had finished their work, leaving Fudo shocked about what to do. The Yellow Gelato asked if Fudo had beaten Reaper Princess, and Fudo complimented Tasumi for her nice act. Fudo tried to excuse her, suggesting they leave, but she mentioned the TV station requested an interview before they went. During the interview, the reporter asked Fudo about winning against Reaper Princess and how he felt about her. Fudo expressed that there was no one else like her, sharing his initial feelings when he met her. The embarrassed Reaper Princess struggled to keep her composure. The reporter inquired if she was an example for him and an indispensable rival for his growth. Fudo acknowledged her significance, and when asked about having a girlfriend, Fudo wanted to say he did and that she was here. However, the Yellow Ranger interrupted, claiming Fudo would never have a girlfriend due to his obsession with bodybuilding. The reporter lamented it as a waste, considering the charm Fudo had for many female fans. Misaki suggested he could learn more about the feminine heart. They even jokingly mentioned taking applications for a date with Red, with details in the description. The interview concluded, and Fudo approached Tasumi, who was angry about Fudo's popularity. Fudo assured her that she was the only girl for him, and he would do anything for her. Tasumi then asked if Fudo would take her on a real date, expressing her desire for a romantic experience. Fudo agreed, and they planned to meet up at Central Park the next day at 5 o'clock. Tasumi left, excited about the upcoming date, while Fudo was in shock, unsure of what to do on a real date. That night in the base, Fudo searched the internet for date ideas, feeling confused. Misaki came in, teasing him about researching muscle stuff, and Fudo explained his dilemma about planning the ideal date. Misaki advised him that there are no rules and that he should focus on what he enjoys. Fudo felt enlightened, realizing that the seemingly insurmountable wall in his mind began to crumble, and he discovered the truth about dating. The scene shifted to the next day in the park, where Fudo, dressed in his regular pants, felt nervous about going on a date. Tasumi arrived in casual clothes, leaving Fudo mesmerized by her looks. Tasumi expressed feeling embarrassed and nervous about meeting up formally. Fudo wondered if she was capable of doing anything impossible. Tasumi complimented Fudo's disguise, and Fudo explained that, other than the glasses and hair, it was his usual suit. When Tasumi asked what they would do that day, Fudo assured her that he had planned everything. Fudo directed Tasumi to a branch of the gym, surprising people with their couples exercises. They moved on to running, and Fudo realized that training, which he loved, could be this fun when done with someone else. Sitting on a bench, Fudo asked if Tasumi was getting hungry and suggested having a meal, then posed an unusual question about which insect would be the strongest if it were a giant. Tasumi excused herself, claiming she needed to go to the bathroom. Fudo, pleased with how well the date was going, anticipated the next event at the Human Autonomy exhibit. His thoughts were interrupted by Misaki's call on the walkie, advising him on date do's and don'ts. Shocked, Fudo realized his mistake, which he had misunderstood, and that this wasn't a real date. Apologizing, Fudo promised to plan a date Tasumi would enjoy. Frantically searching for her, he couldn't find Tasumi and was on the verge of tears. Suddenly, Tasumi returned, explaining she had been delayed buying drinks. She enjoyed the snacks and asked about Fudo's question on the strongest insect. Though surprised, Fudo explained. Tasumi laughed off any anger, appreciating Fudo's effort in planning the date. She reassured him, expressing contentment just by being with him. Touched by her understanding, Fudo recalled how she had initiated their relationship and how they moved closer. The moment was interrupted by a call, and they promised to meet again. Meanwhile, on the battlefield, the Rangers and the Gecko Society battled. Fudo and Tasumi, lost in their thoughts, were questioned by their teammates about their distractions during the fight. The scene starts as Professor Gelato and Misaki are playing cards, and Fudo is quite confused about why peace is best. No one wants to fight if they don't have to. However, if he doesn't fight, he won't be able to see Tasumi, as he hasn't had a proper night's sleep in weeks. He is going through a serious Tasumi withdrawal. As he doesn't know what to do, he has to do something. The alarm suddenly went off, indicating the discovery of a new weapon being developed in Gecko's headquarters. The team had to infiltrate and destroy this new threat. Gelato and Misaki expressed concerns, deeming it dangerous and almost suicidal. Professor Gelato decided someone had to go, as Green Gelato was on leave and others were occupied. Fudo and Misaki volunteered, but Fudo insisted on going, prompting Gelato to support him, believing he knew what he was doing. In the Gecko base, subordinates gossiped about the Reaper Princess being in a deadly mood. However, Tasumi was in agony due to not seeing Fudo for 2 weeks, wondering when they would fight the heroes again. Her subordinates bowed, unsure. Tasumi, baffled, thought her horoscope was bad, with Leo having the worst luck and a cute pouch as the lucky item. Calaver Bear revealed his new dangerous weapons, planning to defeat the heroes. Tasumi, surprised, disclosed her concealed weapons in a camouflaged pouch, leaving the subordinates in awe. Moving into an alley, Tasumi questioned her suitability for this life but spotted Fudo looking at her from a vent. Fudo approached, holding her hand, expressing happiness at finding her. Tasumi was pleased but cautious, leading Fudo to her room. Fudo was delighted to see her dressing room, and they decided to play cards despite the danger. Meanwhile, in the Gelato base, Professor Gelato patiently waited for any mission sign, placing faith in Fudo. While Fudo and Tasumi enjoyed their time, a second subordinate screened information, prompting Tasumi to hide Fudo. The subordinate suspected a man's presence, but Tasumi dismissed it as imagination. Tasumi apologized to Fudo, but he was embarrassed as she sat on him. Suddenly, Bear entered her room. Tasumi hid in a cupboard but forgot to move out, trapping herself and Fudo inside. In the confined space, Fudo struggled to breathe, prompting them to realize something was on his face. Bear, suspicious, deduced something in the cupboard. Fudo, drawing something out, revealed Tasumi's undergarment, leading to embarrassment and a slap from Tasumi. Fudo was accidentally ejected from the cupboard, knocking Bear down, triggering the launch of the new weapons, destroying the base, and signaling success to the Gelato base. They celebrated Fudo's accomplishment in destroying the base. After the incident, distant from the base, Fudo apologizes to Tasumi for dropping in just like that, to which Tasumi says that she is the one to apologize as he came all the way to see her and she didn't notice him. Tasumi notices a cut on his cheek and holds a bandage around his face, for which Fudo thanks her and compliments her cute pouch, saying it looks perfect on her. He mentions he wished he had thought of this earlier and gives her his phone number, delighting Tasumi, who expresses joy at the idea of being able to talk anytime. Tasumi strangely asks if it's okay for her to call, and Fudo finds her request cute. At the Secret Society women's dorm, Tasumi feels very nervous to call him and ends up calling Fudo, but is picked by his mother, which greatly shocks Tasumi. They converse, and Fudo asks his mother to buy him a smartphone, to which Tasumi agrees. The scene shifts to the Gecko base, where the executives gather for their regular meeting, led by Supreme Leader Bossler. Acknowledging the Secret Society's success in harnessing negative energy, Bossler emphasizes the imminent birth of their ultimate phantom monster. The Secret Society manipulates human emotions to create monsters, advancing their quest for world domination. Bossler seeks advice on future energy production, and discussions revolve around selecting the next target. The Beast Princess suggests letting heroes fight, but the commander rejects the idea, emphasizing that the meeting's purpose is target selection. The Steel Princess requests more time, while the Heat Princess makes irrelevant comments. The Reaper Princess proposes various destinations, frustrating Bossler until the bear suggests an amusement park, approved by the commander. Tasumi delights in the decision. Fudo, recalling a conversation with Tasumi about visiting a couple spot, receives her message, realizing their dream is coming true. Meanwhile, Professor Gelato and Misaki are puzzled by Fudo's actions, as Misaki plans to expose Fudo's secret on Sunday with Haru. On Sunday, as they observe Fudo playing with children, and Misaki is determined to find out what he's hiding. Meanwhile, Bear is hiding in the shadows, questioning why the heroes are there. Desumi stands up and dashes towards them, prompting Bear to call her stupid for not knowing they were there. Fudo transforms into his suit and is delighted to see Desumi. Bear, however, attacks Desumi, and Misaki questions if Fudo knows they will attack. But Haru assures her that Fudo isn't hiding anything. Misaki and Haru transform into their suits to help Fudo. While Fudo just wants to spend quality time with Desumi, a battle ensues. As they choose their destination, Fudo and Desumi have a fun time at the theme park, enjoying various rides. In a carriage, Desumi mentions that coasters gave him motion sickness, and Fudo admits he didn't know until today. They hold hands and share a moment of getting to know each other. As the battle seems to be over, Desumi suggests they better get back, realizing they may have crossed the line at the theme park, a fearsome place. The scene starts at a school where Desumi is called upon by her friends. As Reaper Princess, Aka Desumi Magahara is a teenage girl who hides her villainous identity to attend a high school in the city. On the way, as they discuss visiting karaoke, Desumi denies it, saying that she has work, for which they tease her by saying she is a workaholic. One friend teases her, saying she will never get a boyfriend that way. Embraced by this, Desumi tries to dodge the question, which her friends ask if she has a crush on someone. Another friend mentions seeing red gelato with a girl, and Desumi is in utter shock, as she runs away, crying. In the restaurant, Fudo asks why she rarely invites him out, for which Haru apologizes. As Fudo asks for the reason, Haru hesitantly thinks that she can't stop thinking about that photo and if the girl next to her is his girlfriend. But is it really okay for her to ask about his private life? Fudo misunderstands it, for which he shows her the muscle growth book and the protein for refreshing the body. Haru tells him that she wants to ask about that photo, to which he advises that he has photos in it too. Haru recognizes that she was an idiot to believe that he would get a girlfriend. The scene shifts as the Gelato 5 are fighting with a bear. As Fudo and his colleagues begin the fight, Fudo tries to confront Reaper Princess and gives a signal to Desumi that they should coordinate with their movements. But to his surprise, Desumi angrily unleashes a powerful strike on him. Fudo is thrown away as he thinks that he got the timing late and tells her to move somewhere else, which she denies as she unleashes a Reaper's whirlwind. Fudo is scared and thinks that he has never seen this attack, which blows him away in the building. Fudo asks what's wrong with her, for which Desumi gives him a punch, saying that she saw him with a girl at the restaurant. Fudo says that it's not like that, and she got it all wrong as she was teaching her about bodybuilding, for which Desumi says that she knows that, as she knows better than anyone that he would never cheat on her. And yet seeing the two of them together sparked this hideous jealousy in her, and she found herself thinking that maybe he doesn't belong with an outcast like her. As Fudo says that she is the girliest girl, Desumi gets embarrassed, screaming that she never used to be this kind of person to worry about that sort of thing. As she points at Fudo, she screams that love has made her weak, and dating him has made her a weak and pathetic mess of a woman. Fudo regrets it, saying that she isn't weak as she is getting overboard with him. As Desumi's punch stops near Fudo, Desumi says that maybe she is not cut for love as she cries down. Fudo embarrasses her by hugging her, saying that he is pretty awkward too, but once he makes up his mind, he sees it through to the end, and he loves her and no one else for the rest of his life. As he asks her to join him in that, Desumi says that she trusts him and she will join him. The scene shifts as the bear is defeated. In the building, Desumi asks Fudo why he is laughing all of a sudden, to which he answers that he has seen a new side to her, and she can be surprisingly negative sometimes. Desumi gets angry, saying that she still hasn't forgiven him for going on that after-school date. Fudo gets baffled, asking if that wasn't exactly a good thing, and it was just, for which Desumi says that to promise her that he will take her on an after-school date, uniforms and all, and then she will forgive him, for which Fudo promises her as they hold hands with each other. Haru beside them tells them that it's all over, and they both get surprised and sweat as their relationship gets revealed. As Fudo and Haru depart, Fudo thinks that she hasn't said anything, and is it possible she hasn't figured them out? As he asks how much conversation did she heard, she says that after she heard that Fudo asked her not to use moves, that she has practiced it recently or that whereabouts. Fudo gets to realize that she heard everything, and it's all over, as he imagines things that Professor Gelato and his colleagues will react to this. As he gets scared, as he wakes up from the dream. The next day at Gelato headquarters, Fudo is scared to enter the meeting hall. From behind, Haru tells him that they have a meeting to attend. And in the meeting, it's said that Haru will start the meeting, which greatly shocks Fudo. Haru surprises Fudo with news about their upcoming end-of-term tests, prompting them to leave early. Fudo finds Haru acting strangely, unable to figure out the reason. In the park, Fudo confides in Desumi, and both are puzzled by Haru's behavior. Desumi contemplates silencing Haru to end the torture, but Fudo assures her to wait a little longer. Amidst the confusion, Desumi requests a vanilla mocha from Fudo, who leaves to get it. Tasumi then confronts Haru, who reveals her desire to fight and confirms her feelings for Fudo. Tasumi overpowers Haru in the battle, questioning her desperation. After awakening, Haru remains still at Tasumi's suggestion. Acknowledging her defeat, Haru praises Tasumi's strength. Tasumi inquires about Haru's motives, leading to the revelation that Haru joined the team due to her love for Fudo. Suspecting Fudo had a girlfriend, Haru never expected it to be the enemy commander. Tasumi questions if Haru harbors resentment, but Haru clarifies their shared history, recalling Tasumi's past support. However, witnessing Tasumi's strength, she abandoned the plan, realizing she had no right to interfere with their happiness. Tears flow as Haru expresses regret, and Tasumi consoles her. Fudo arrives, unaware of the emotional turmoil, and Tasumi explains that Haru is sleeping. Fudo's expression changes as he contemplates the possibility that Haru might have silenced her forever. In Gecko headquarters, as the Bossler asked, the executives had steeled themselves. Then, he presented the Princess Series monthly reports, which had been evaluated on combat outcomes, negative energy accumulation, drive enthusiasm, and the overall leaderboard. Bear's team, once again, was in the lead on the overall leaderboard, continuing their streak of breakaway leads over the second-place finisher. The Reaper Princess was aggressive in suggesting plans and maintaining a perfect combat attendance record. She was truly the role model of evil. Beating Red Gelato half to death the other day had also earned her significant points. In celebration of her achievements, the Reaper received a Super Bossler doll. The Beast Princess, grabbing Tasumi, challenged her to settle their differences once and for all, to which Tasumi agreed by offering everything for the confrontation. Seeing Tasumi's disinterest, the Beast Princess walks away. In the cafeteria, during lunch, Tasumi overheard gossip between the Beast Princess, who expressed her determination to be in the first place next time. Tasumi sensed a grudge from the Beast Princess, who hated losing and suffered from violent mood swings. Steel Princess seemed uncompetitive and lived in her little world. Tasumi learned that Steel Princess had fallen in love with someone, causing Beast Princess to advise against workplace romance. Despite knowing it was wrong, Steel Princess couldn't stop her feelings. Tasumi intervened, expressing understanding and support for Steel Princess. Beast Princess suggested that workplace romance was strictly prohibited. Steel Princess confided in them, revealing her feelings for a co-worker. Tasumi encouraged her to confess and offered support. Steel Princess agreed to tell the person how she felt, despite feeling plain and unappealing. Tasumi assured her she would help develop her confidence. The scene shifted to bodily exercises, but Steel Princess, feeling worthless, decided to give up on love. Beast Princess criticized Tasumi for making Steel Princess feel worse. In Gecko headquarters, Tasumi and Beast Princess entered the dressing room of Steel Princess. Beast Princess remarked on Steel Princess being in her iron labyrinth, refusing to budge. Tasumi attempted to approach her, but the auto-steel defense system injured her. Despite the challenges, Tasumi continued to approach, reaching down to her. Steel Princess, crying, admitted she didn't give up and wanted to acknowledge her feelings of love. As she removed her armor and thanked them for giving her courage, a perverted moment ensued. Steel Princess confessed her love to the Calaverian Bear, shocking Beast Princess, and the Calaverian Bear accepted her confession. Tasumi said that she was so happy for her. The scene shifted after some days, as the bear asked Snake Commander and gave her a dish to eat up, for which he thanked him. Bear said that he had a favor to ask, to borrow Steel Princess. The commander said it was a short thing, but she was pretty stupid, for which he got angry, saying that it wasn't like that. The scene shifted as the Calaverian Bear with Steel Princess attacked Gelato 5, having a hard time. He asked what Steel Princess was doing there, and they didn't have a choice but to call Red Gelato back. The Blue Gelato approached Red. Haru warned him not to come closer, threatening to beat him if he persisted. The Blue Gelato backed off, and Haru signaled Fudo and Tasumi that her mission was successful before leaving. Tasumi took out a lunch, for which Fudo thanked her mother for bringing him into this world in the same era as Tasumi, which greatly embarrassed her. Tasumi took the lunch from Fudo's hand, saying that when couples eat together, they are supposed to feed each other. Fudo said that he had heard it and thanked the god for creating this world. Tasumi said that she felt like they were about to reach the next stage as she took a deep breath and tried to feed him. Fudo felt a great pain in his abdomen as he fell, and Tasumi asked what this was for, to which he answered that his stomach hurt. But he pointed towards his mouth, asking her to give the food to him, saying that he had to give the food as this might be his last breath as he faints. The scene shifted to the hospital, where Misaki speculated about Fudo's appendix, and the professor apologized for the unintended consequence of his request, urging Fudo to rest. As Misaki tried to feed an apple to Fudo, he remembered that Tasumi must be the first woman to feed him and closed his mouth. Realizing this, Haru gulped down the apple, giving a sign to Fudo, for which he greatly thanked her. After some time, as Fudo felt that someone was feeding her something, he misbehaved with Tasumi but realized that it was her mom. As she left to play volleyball with her neighboring friends, Fudo took out his dumbbell from the blanket, and Tasumi from behind told him not to do something as it would pop his stitches. She said that she heard that they were letting him go out tomorrow, but she wanted to see him while she was in this unusual situation and asked that he seemed to be feeling a lot better. Fudo said that he'd never die until she fed him, and Tasumi's embarrassed. She tells him that he is so silly as she hops on the bed, trying to feed him. As Fudo slowly ate the food, he felt pleasantly happy, and as they held hands and moved close to each other, but suddenly his mother came in front of them. As Fudo and Tasumi were having quality time with each other and they were about to share a lovely moment, their mother came into the place, leaving Fudo uttering in confusion as she took Tasumi with her to play baseball as the number of players was lacking. As the Gelato members fought with the Gecko members, on top of the cliff, Tasumi and Fudo had a quality time together. Tasumi mentioned it was hot and suggested they had a lot to do in the summer. Fudo asked if there was anything she'd like to do as a couple, for which Tasumi said it was a great idea, and she searched through the internet. As she scrolled down a trip, she thought that it had to be the beach. Fudo got embarrassed, wondering if he could see Tasumi in a swimsuit. The scene shifted to the Gecko headquarters in the cafeteria. Beast Princess sensed Tasumi's aura and praised her, saying that she was her rival. But, to her surprise, it was the pasta set, and she was in utter disbelief. She asked if Tasumi didn't know that she had an image to maintain. She was the only person around there with the ferocity she respected. And now, look at her eating pasta with a goofy look on her face. And why did she want to join Gecko in the first place? To which she answered that she didn't, her family did. As Beast Princess asked, but that entrance exam isn't easy, and how in the hell did she pass? For which she said that she did her best. As Tasumi asked her, didn't she think a beach would be a great place for their next attack? Meanwhile, an announcement was made that all squad leaders and Princess Series members report to the conference room at once. Beast Princess said that it was unusual for them to notify them at this time as she moved her way, but Tasumi was still enjoying her pasta as she was dragged out. As they reached the meeting hall, the secret society Gecko is an uncompromising hereditary, and its 6 squadrons are led by their 6 strongest monsters, with the Princess Series serving below them as our sub-leaders. The leader gathered the team and revealed the purpose behind the meeting, the creation of a new monster. Reaper Princess was selected for promotion, transitioning from princess to monster through surgery and fusion with an animal for increased power. Despite Beast Princess expressing regret for being overlooked, Tasumi attempted to persuade the leader to reconsider. The snake monster and the bear extended their congratulations to Reaper Princess for stepping into the new realm. Tasumi, witnessing the rabbit monster, contemplated the idea of becoming a cute monster like her. Bossler, intending to fuse Tasumi with a mountain gorilla, described it as a miraculous chemistry of 2 ultimate bodies. In her room, Tasumi pondered the potential transformation into a massive monster, realizing it would bring substantial changes to her life. A call from her father conveyed congratulations on her promotion. Feeling torn between the excitement of her Gecko teammates and family and her concerns, Tasumi wondered about Fudo's opinion. Upon Fudo's call, Tasumi shared her apprehensions about becoming a gorilla. Fudo reassured her, emphasizing the importance of her desires. Reflecting on her aspirations, Tasumi decided against becoming a gorilla, expressing gratitude for her newfound experiences and leaning on Fudo for support. The focus shifts to Gecko headquarters, where Bossler angrily questions whether Beast Princess truly rejects the surgery. Beast Princess responds with disbelief. Despite Bossler's initial anger, he unexpectedly praises her, commending her dedication to fighting with her innate abilities. He views accepting animal power as a sign of weakness, leading other commanders to express disbelief. The commander applauds her decision and dismisses the assembly, prompting Tasumi to inform Fudo. The scene shifts to the beach, where Tasumi remarks on the great weather. However, the bear questions her actions, emphasizing that their presence isn't for vacation. Ironically, he appears in vacation attire, questioning the accuracy of the tip they received. Tasumi recalls Fudo's information about a test drive for the King Gelato Robo at Shonen Beach. Despite their mission to investigate and demolish the hero's robot, Tasumi and Fudo desire a chance for a date. Suddenly, the King Gelato robot emerges, launching missiles at the Calaverian bear and commanders. Beast Princess realizes Gelato anticipated their sabotage. In the submarine, Misaki enjoys the outdoors, while Haru reminds them of duty. As Fudo approaches, and Beast Princess inquires about Tasumi's plan, Tasumi, in a swimsuit, surprises Fudo. He is captivated by her, and they decide to have their dream beach date while holding hands. The Beast Princess, Kiki Majima, observes Tasumi's impressive execution of the plan, acknowledging her abilities. She reflects on their different approaches to evaluating risks. and anticipates gaining respect as the mission concludes. However, her respect is momentarily replaced by confusion and misunderstanding as she sees Fudo buried in the sand, thinking Desumi is torturing him. Majima, witnessing Desumi and Fudo's playful interaction with a watermelon, misconstrues the situation, believing Desumi smashed Fudo's head. Her confusion continues when Blue Gelato Hayato approaches and attempts to flirt with her. Majima, unimpressed, slaps him, interpreting the scene as evidence that Desumi has infiltrated their ranks. In the evening, Misaki questions Desumi and Fudo's relationship, perceiving them as a couple. Fudo and Desumi share a mixed reaction, and Misaki finds it cute. Daigo offers them noodles, and Professor Gelato surprises everyone with fireworks. Haru expresses admiration for the beauty of the fireworks, while Misaki credits Desumi for Fudo's positive changes. Fudo and Desumi enjoy the spectacle, with Desumi thinking highly of Fudo. As Professor Gelato prepares for the final showstopper, he accidentally triggers the wrong button, causing the submarine to explode. Majima, misunderstanding the situation, believes Desumi caused the destruction. As Desumi approaches her, Majima thinks that Desumi is unfazed by the chaos, while Desumi appreciates the wonderful fireworks and the fun they had that day. In Gelato's headquarters, where Diaga is making dinner. Meanwhile, Misaki comes in and asks Haru if she is done, to which she says that she is done. She asks Diaga if he is still here, to which he answers yes, as Fudo is working the late shift, and he decides to make him some rations. Misaki compliments it, saying that he is as praiseworthy as all. On top of scouting out new heroes for the team, he must be very busy, for which he says that it's not a problem. Misaki asks him if he feels like scouting him as a companion for life, for which Diaga says that there is indifference as he ignores her. Misaki says that it's making her cry as Diaga leaves, saying that workplace relationships are prohibited. Haru says that Diaga is completely unflappable, as he is calm by nature and level-headed in combat. He never loses his cool, unlike her, for which Misaki says yes, as physically speaking, Diaga is their organization's rock. Daigo brings dinner to Fudo, and they engage in a conversation about Fudo's exchange diary, focusing on a girl named Desumi whom Fudo met at the beach. However, Daigo reacts dramatically, fainting at the mention of Desumi Magahara's name and claiming she's dangerous. At the infirmary, Fudo provides Daigo with water and learns that Desumi is someone Daigo created. Intrigued, Fudo inquires about their shared history, leading Daigo to share a chilling story from 10 years ago. In his middle school days, Daigo, a skilled karate student, considered himself the best until Desumi arrived, a 7-year-old with immense strength. Initially dismissing it as luck, Daigo agreed to train her. However, as time passed, Desumi's power grew, surpassing even Daigo. Thugs attacked her, but she effortlessly defeated them, earning the title Reaper of Waifu. Daigo reveals that, due to family circumstances, he had to move to Tokyo, but before leaving, he confronted Desumi for a final practice. Despite his intention to defeat the monster he created, Desumi effortlessly defeated him. She bid farewell, expressing hope for a future practice. In the present, Daigo acknowledges the frightening memories he unconsciously sealed away. He can't believe Desumi is in Tokyo. Fudo agrees with Daigo's concerns about Desumi's recognition and her formidable power. Daigo, responsible for personal scouting for a heroic organization, insists that Fudo break up with Desumi due to workplace regulation. He plans to scout Desumi for their team, emphasizing the pursuit of her talent for world peace. Fudo, conflicted and terrified at the thought of discussing Desumi, contemplates the potential challenges ahead. The scene shifts to a restaurant as Fudo formally introduces Desumi to Diaga. Desumi expresses surprise at discovering Diaga's membership in Gelato 5, realizing he changed his last name. Diaga, overwhelmed with fear, spills tea while trying to pick up his cup. Desumi reminisces about their training days, suggesting a spar to ease the tension. However, Diaga, terrified, thanks Fudo for intervening and expresses concern about traumatic memories. As Desumi goes to the drink bar, Fudo questions Diaga about dating. Diaga, fearing Desumi, insists that Fudo break up with her if she is forcing him. Fudo defends his love for Desumi, leading to an embarrassed reaction from her. Attempting to discuss Gelato's business, Diaga invites Desumi to join Gelato, emphasizing the use of her power for justice. Desumi declines, citing her happiness at Gecko and potential karmic retribution if she were any happier. Fudo tries to divert the conversation, recalling Desumi's effort to hide her identity when going to school. The interaction becomes playful, with Fudo feeding Desumi and joking about indirect kisses. Diaga, determined to overcome his trauma, challenges Desumi to a battle. As they move onto a garden, Fudo asks why he wants to fight Desumi, for which Diaga says to tell him to silence and ask Desumi if she wants to defeat him in this match. He will give up on scouting her. Desumi says that there is no way she could defeat him, and Diaga says that if he wins, she will give up on her relationship with Fudo and join the Gelato of 5. Diaga says that because workplace relationships are forbidden, she has to break up with him. Hearing this, Desumi gets rigid and asks why he didn't tell her about this rule earlier. And if that's what he is telling her, this is one battle she can't afford to lose. Suddenly, Diaga Todoroki activates his suit's transformation, and as a result, he just barely escapes with his life. As Fudo approaches him to see if he is alright, Desumi says that she went easy. Diaga thinks that even after he transforms, she still thinks like that. Fudo says that he wanted to stop her, but he found himself entranced by her beautiful moves. Diaga thinks, what kind of couple in the world is this, and how terrifying is this? Diaga says that it is a reunion with his pupil after so long, and he wants to give her a win. As he thinks about who in the world he's saying all this to, he stands up and says that they will declare it as his defeat, but asks Desumi to promise him one thing. There are many forces out there that would seek out powers like her, and if she were to join one of them, see that it's not Gecko. Hearing this, Fudo and Desumi are dumbfounded. As Desumi makes her way, she tells Fudo that his whole organization just assumes that they are a couple, to which Fudo says yes, as Misaki is spreading the rumor everywhere. Desumi says that they have been a little too comfortable lately, and maybe they need to put some barriers back up, no more PDAS, and so on. Fudo says that she is right, as Desumi grins. She says that he seems a little upset about that, for which Fudo gets embarrassed, saying that he is being serious. But to his surprise, Desumi hugs him as Fudo asks what she is doing, for which Desumi says that, for instance, if she ever tried to do something like this, don't be afraid to push her off as they move on their way. But from behind, someone is taking pictures of them as the person smiles. The scene begins with Fudo in the gelato headquarters, greeting his teammates. Haru remarks that it's been a while, and while Misaki hands him an envelope, she points out that she was awake all night and seems to have major bags under her eyes. As Fudo examines the document, he is shocked to see it. Misaki questions his shocked expression, asking if he's seen a ghost. Upon seeing the poster, Fudo realizes they have a problem. It's a sneak photo of him with Desumi. As he thinks that they are in trouble, at Desumi's school, her friends are complimenting her on making a beautiful lunchbox. A strange girl takes a bite of the lunchbox, apologizing and mentioning her slippery mouth. Desumi, shocked, mentions that she is pretty used to it. The girl addresses the issue if anyone has a problem with it. Suddenly, Kijima enters, asking if there's a problem and offering help. Desumi's friends cry out as the discipline officers arrive, as, on Gecko's orders, the princesses are attending the same school. Kijima questions why Desumi doesn't stand up for herself, but she dismisses it as just a rice ball, not a big deal. Kyoko eats the rice ball, infuriating Kijima. Kijima addresses the strange girl as Hyujo, noting violations in her skirt length, nails, earrings, and more. She asks her to come to the guidance office later. Hyujo dismisses it, suggesting the guys must be starved for romantic attention. Kijima gets angry, and Hyujo asserts that she gets what she wants, whether it's rice balls or anything else. Hyujo moves away but whispers in Desumi's ear, mentioning her secret but refusing to share it, and walks away. Kijima comments on keeping secrets, and Desumi says everyone has one or two. At night, Fudo arrives at the park, prompted by a message on the poster. He encounters someone in black clothes who reveals herself as Hyujo. She confesses to taking the picture and hints at her plans. Hyujo threatens to publish the picture. Fudo, concerned about making trouble for her, agrees reluctantly. Hyujo calls him a creepy little man and demands compliance, warning him to break up with his girlfriend. Fudo denies the breakup suggestion, and Hyujo grabs his cheek, insisting he has no choice. She records their conversation and asks him to say he loves her. Fudo refuses, leading to a punch from Hyujo. She threatens to call the tabloids, and Fudo questions her motives. Hyujo demands a kiss on her hand as proof of their master-slave relationship. Fudo hesitates, but eventually complies. Hyujo slaps him, calling it humiliating, and warns of more disturbing things if he doesn't comply in the future. The scene shifts to the Gelato and Gecko members fighting, and Fudo informs Desumi about what happened. She asks who in the world she is, but those are details to meet her again tonight, as mentioned on that mysterious poster. While saying this, she suggests they might have to silence her permanently. Fudo intervenes, urging her not to go down that path, and shares thoughts about what she might want from him. As Desumi asks to clarify what exactly she is trying to achieve, Fudo says that she demands that he confess that he loves her, for which Desumi becomes angered and delivers a German suplex to Fudo. She then questions if he did it, for Fudo denies it as his spine is croaked. Desumi asks if she requested anything for him to say he loves her and even asks him to break up with her. Desumi gets saddened and asks if she thinks she's in love and if it's with Fudo. Fudo realizes that she is indeed in love with him. Fudo holds her hand and admits it's all right, thinking there's nothing to worry about. Fudo realizes he needs to make things clear to her. The scene shifts to a night setting, where Hyujo reveals that Fudo came. Fudo apologizes, expressing his understanding of her feelings and how he appreciates them. He acknowledges feeling ashamed and assures her that he cannot turn away her feelings. Hyujo, in disbelief, slaps him, screaming that she is in love with Tasumi. She questions if she said it out loud, mentioning rumors about her boring life. Tasumi complimented her, revealing her crush on her. Hyujo apologizes, admitting her unworthy feelings. Fudo reassures her, saying there's nothing to be sorry for and he appreciates her good taste. Hugo smiles, calling him weird, but passes on staying up all night, indicating they are still rivals. Hyujo admits she's troublesome, self-centered, and a bit cheeky, but they share a secret connection that even Tasumi doesn't know. Warning Fudo to be cautious, she hints at stealing Tasumi. The scene shifts to Gecko headquarters, where a meeting is held. Kyoko mentions the early birds moving to the hall, and they encounter a strange monster named Heat in the alley, who turns out to be Hyujo in disguise. The scene shifts. In a cave, Tasumi and Fudo spend quality time. Haru enters, inquiring about Gecko's plans, and Tasumi reveals that, unofficially, Bossler-sama won't be present, so attacks are off. Haru asks Fudo for help in studying, and Tasumi, questioning Fudo's academic skills, agrees. The next day, directed to Moon Village Apartments, Haru is shocked, but Tasumi suggests they wear Gecko uniforms in disguise. Passing easily, they reach Tasumi's room. While studying, Tasumi drops a letter revealing her impressive report card. Apologizing for lying, she admits her academic proficiency, and together they decide to help Haru study. However, conflicting teaching methods confuse Haru, leading her to leave. Fudo and Tasumi, now alone, feel nervous in each other's company. Fudo notices Tasumi acting oddly and asks what's up. She shares thoughts about Haru's question, asking if Fudo plans to attend university. Fudo agrees, expressing a desire to become an elementary school teacher. Tasumi reveals her dream of joining the same university and sitting beside him. Concerned about her father's expectations for her at Gecko, Fudo promises to talk to him. Tasumi hopes they can attend together, and Fudo encourages her. As the bell rings, Tasumi sees her father and sister, leaving Fudo anxious about what will happen next. The scene starts as Urami, the little sister of Tasumi, comes into the house with his father. As Tasumi's father is having a time with Fudo, there is a menacing atmosphere. Tasumi's father greets him with the Gecko tradition, but Fudo is completely clueless and realizes that they have to greet each other. As Tasumi's father asks for his name, he introduces himself as Muto, for which Tasumi's father asks what an average Gecko foot soldier is doing in her daughter, Reaper Princess's room. Tasumi comes into excuse that he was helping her to study as she has an exam. Tasumi's father screams, questioning why a great soldier of Gecko needs to be studied, as all they need is a wicked heart and drive toward world domination. He shouts to look into this room and to put on a Gecko flag. Tasumi sees that he is ruining the temporary style as she tears it off. Tasumi's father stumbles upon the Bossler's doll, and he is in complete shock, saying that the legendary Bossler doll that he longed for so desperately when he was still in action is just lying over there. Tasumi mentions that there was no place to put them here. Tasumi's father bows down to the doll, saying that he begs their forgiveness. Tasumi's father then reveals that he heard about the monster's promotion and spent his entire life as a low-level Gecko soldier. He couldn't tell how proud he was when he heard about her daughter's promotion and what was going through her head. Turning that down, Fudo says that, if he doesn't mind, he would like to interrupt, and Tasumi only reached that decision after long consideration. Urami, Tasumi's sister, comes from behind to punch Fudo's half-mask off, saying that he should stay out of their matters and calling him a man of an outsider. Tasumi gets worried, asking if he is alright. Fudo says that she is full of terrifying potential befitting of her sister. Tasumi says that she appreciates the sentiment, but he really shouldn't speak up about her life like that. Urami is feeling like that as she is in love with her sister. Tasumi's father says that they gotta get rid of Glido 5 as soon as possible and asks Tasumi to quit her study. In a year, she will be finished with high school, and they will be able to focus on Gecko full-time. Fudo remembers the long-cherished wish of Tasumi, bows down, and asks if he can make a request. Tasumi wishes to go to college, and he begs to allow it. After a brief pause, Urami comes in between, saying that the sister she knew wasn't all carefree like this and that she should be the strongest and most ruthless person. She tries to strike him down, but she is stopped by Tasumi. Urami says that she has to do it. Tasumi, angrily, orders her to stop it, and Urami cries down and moves on to hide in the cupboard. As Fudo tries to convince Tasumi's father, he replies that this is a family matter and that he better stay out. But seeing the determined eyes of Fudo, he convinces them that they have to fight it out. As Tasumi's father runs towards him but is flown back, Fudo says that he has done nothing. Tasumi's father says that this is the art of defeat and how spectacularly one can lose a fight. He spent his years with this organization working to refine this one skill, and he doesn't think Fudo can understand the pride he takes in it. Fudo comes in saying that he understands it, as there is no artistry in beating the current generation of gecko soldiers. Tasumi's father praises Fudo's commitment and sees promise in him. As he takes a shower, he postpones the university discussion with Tasumi, bringing her joy. Tasumi expresses gratitude to Fudo, who affirms that handling such situations is easy if it means they can attend university together. Later, as Tasumi's father departs, she acknowledges Fudo's involvement in their complex situation. Fudo assures her that facing challenges together is worth it. Tasumi is pleased, compliments Fudo, and thanks him for everything. Urami, observing from a window, remains displeased with Fudo's presence. In a flashback, Urami recalls being bullied in high school and receiving support from Tasumi, who encouraged her to become stronger. In the present, Urami accompanies Tasumi on a train journey, where Tasumi is engrossed in chatting with Fudo. As they walk through the forest towards Gecko's headquarters, at Gecko's headquarters, soldiers pay respect to the Reaper Princess. Tasumi questions the formal treatment, and soldiers note her increased fierceness. Urami wonders if this is how Tasumi always acts in front of subordinates. In the meeting hall, Bossler praises Urami, and other princesses express approval. Urami observes the respect Tasumi commands. Tasumi asks Urami for popcorn, mentioning a new shop she wants to try, and leaves. Urami apologizes for her sister's behavior and runs after her. Tasumi takes Urami to various shops, trying to make her look cute. Urami feels disappointed, recalling her past struggles and the family's admiration for Tasumi. Urami tries to leave, saying that the sister she looked up to is gone now, and she looks like a total weakling. Urami feels disappointed and moves away. As Urami sits alone, she recalls being bullied in high school and shutting herself in her room. Her family used to watch Tasumi combat Gelato 5, and her father expressed how proud he was of Tasumi. Urami reflects on how her sister changed after meeting a strange man in the city. 3 thugs approach Urami, trying to force her. Urami attempts to use her power but is in shock. Tasumi arrives, telling Urami it's fine and that she's the strongest she's ever been. Tasumi confronts the thugs, and they are quickly defeated. Tasumi and Urami have ice cream on a bench, and Tasumi advises Urami to fall in love, emphasizing that love is what they need to survive. Urami comments that Tasumi used to say otherwise. Tasumi pats Urami's head and tells her she'll understand one day, to which Urami replies that she'd rather not. The next day, Urami flies away, thinking that her sister has become softer, but that's not too bad. Once she joins Gecko, Muto will be the first one she purges, ending with an evil laugh. As the Gelato 5 fought with the geckos, on the top of the cliff, Tasumi offered a poster of a festival at her school, saying that her class was organizing a maid cafe for the next weekend. Thunder struck Fudo as he thought about seeing Tasumi dressed as a maid, and he mentioned that he would give his life to attend. Tasumi insisted that he come on Sunday, the festival's last day, as there was a legend at Kokutei High School. At the finale of the school's final day, the staff made a crescent-shaped sculpture available for only 1 hour, known as the Kokutei Moon. It was a popular spot for couples to take pictures, with a belief that those who took pictures with it would become invincible couples bound in love for eternity. Fudo found the idea clever and considered them an invincible couple, but he wouldn't mind having a little supernatural backing. Tasumi agreed, emphasizing the need to be discreet during the crowded school festival. Fudo acknowledged that this would be their toughest mission yet as they held hands and vowed to become an invincible couple. The scene shifted to the crowded school with various events. Fudo was carrying the Blue Ranger Hayato on his shoulders, mesmerizing the girls. Hayato introduced himself as the Gem of Gelato 5 and the Crimson Brick Fudo. Tasumi's friends suggested heading to a cafe, but Haju intervened, inquiring about Tasumi's supposed boyfriend. Despite Tasumi's denial, Haju suggested going to Kokutei Moon together. Meanwhile, Fudo informed Tasumi of his delayed arrival. Encouraged by her friends, Tasumi tried to escape Haju, who pursued her. In another area, a couple discussed going to the moon, but Mijima intervened, emphasizing the festival's purpose of promoting community spirit over romance. Kyoko confronted Kijima, accusing her of jealousy, prompting Kijima's anger and determination to dismantle every couple. Inside the haunted house, Fudo waited for Tasumi, finding her hiding under a table. They shared a playful moment, with Fudo praising Tasumi's cuteness. Tasumi, in a maid outfit, presented sweets from their class-made cafe. Fudo expressed his delight and considered himself the luckiest master in history. Despite feeling guilty for leaving her class, Tasumi decided to wait for the school festival. Suddenly, Kijima intervened, attacking them due to illegal relations. Fudo and Tasumi fled, getting separated. At 3 p.m., Tasumi thought she had escaped, only to encounter Hujo, insisting they fulfill their promise to visit the Kokutei Moon. Tasumi clarified that she never promised it that way. Meanwhile, Fudo found himself surrounded by admirers, with Hayato claiming he promised to be Fudo's horse all day, though Fudo denied making such a promise. As the announcement signaled the arrival of the Kokite moon, couples gathered for pictures. Tasumi sprinted toward it, chased by Hyujo. Tasumi acknowledged Hyujo's athleticism and sought help from Blood Princess Kira, who hesitated but agreed upon the promise of Super Bossler dolls. Blood Princess, in love with Supreme Ruler Bossler, was tempted by the offer. As Tasumi flew out of the window and as Hyujo pursued Tasumi, she thought that the Blood Princess was not an easy opponent, to which Kira said that she should stick around and have a nice long talk with her. Hyujo struck a big kick towards her but was blocked by Kira. Kira said that she was awfully strong, and Hyujo thought that she was also part of the princess series. The scene shifted as Tasumi thought that she had some time and she saw Hayato doing something strange with Fudo. As Fudo spotted Tasumi, Kijima was with Tasumi, who asked for her help to track down couples. Tasumi thought that she didn't realize that was her in the haunted house, and it's a relief, for which she excused herself, seeing that she has few plans. For which Kijima asked, "What are they?" As she asked, she did mention that she was interested in romance one day. "And don't tell her that. And does she have a boyfriend?" As Kijima felt a chilling aura through her spine, she saw Hayato glaring at her, and he said that they met again. Kijima ran away, while Hayato pursued her and the other girls with her too. As Tasumi approached Fudo, they hid behind the parking lot. Fudo said that they are running out of time, but they will all recognize them, and the Princess Series members are all around them. It's announced that there are just 5 minutes left with the Kokutei moon, and as they grit their teeth and try to break through the crowd, and sit there without anyone seeing them. As Fudo said, he is out of ideas. As they heard Kyoko telling Bear's costume boy that she thought he was him and the original one was missing, Tasumi says, and they can't give up on it, as she has an idea. It has been announced that they will take one more couple before closing their shop. Fudo asked if they were sure they could do it, to which Tasumi said that it was nothing that they couldn't. They stood up and transformed their dresses, and as the students saw the costume, they praised it. Seeing the Red Gelato and Reaper Princess get along is very rare. As they approached the moon and sat on it side by side, Fudo said that when he and she worked together, there was nothing they could not achieve. Tasumi said that because they are an invincible couple, perhaps the day when they can see each other with their heads high isn't so far away after all. For which Fudo said that it is. Indeed, Tasumi said that until the day comes, she is going to enjoy having this little secret, to which Fudo agreed. As Kijima had destroyed Hayato, and everything settled down, it was announced that they were taking the picture. And the couple's picture of Fudo and Tasumi was taken while they were happy. As the Gelato Rangers had a hard time, they confronted Commander Rabbit, and their weapons and swords were broken. The Rangers were blasted off by a blast from Judgment Princess. The scene shifted towards the Gecko headquarters, where Tasumi said that she was just thinking that the Judgment Princess was always by herself, and she was. Kijima said that she was a perpetual loner who performed her missions in silence, and the idol Gecko showed up. Kyoko said that when she removed her mask, she had quite a charming appearance, for which Tasumi said that she was going to talk to her. As she approached her and invited her to eat with them, Ranran said that it would be another time, perhaps. Tasumi thought about it, but the Drone Rabbit commander told her that Judgment Princess, a member of the 6th Squadron specializing in covert operations, was known for her dedication and lack of interpersonal connections. Tasumi, attempting to break her isolation, invited her to her home with the scene shifted towards Tasumi's room, where Kijima was surprised to learn about the trickery. Thinking it was a serious meeting, she got mad at Kyoko for showing up in pajamas. Kijima thought Kyoko's real aim was to get closer to the Judgment Princess, whom she considered a strong warrior. Things got even more unexpected when Fudo appeared, leaving Tasumi shocked and wondering why. Kijima sarcastically commented on Red Gelato going for a solo mission. Tasumi sensed something was off and told Kijima to stop, realizing it wasn't Fudo. As Fudo approached, it turned out to be Judgment Princess, who admitted to surprising them and asked if Tasumi saw through it. Tasumi noticed the odd details, like Fudo's unsafe shoe removal and smaller muscles, doubting the impersonation. Kijima acknowledged Judgment Princess as the rival who did her homework. The mood lightened as Tasumi made takoyaki, earning compliments from Kijima for its tastiness. Kijima jokingly called it more of a friendly gathering, while Kyoko clarified that the goal was to build closer connections. Judgment Princess, hesitant about expressing herself, revealed her uncertainty about forming friendships. As the group discussed topics, Tasumi emphasized the positive aspects of being in love, inspiring personal growth and joy. The Judgment Princess, intrigued, speculated that Tasumi might be in love herself. Tasumi avoided discussing personal matters, stating it wasn't the right time. In a playful moment, she gifted Judgment Princess a scarf as a symbol of their friendship. When asked if they were friends, Tasumi affirmed, mentioning she made one for everyone. Kijima questioned her craft making, and Kyoko explained that Desumi was part of the Handicrafts Club. Later, Judgment Princess, impersonating Fudo, thanked Desumi for the day, revealing she never intended to get close but enjoyed herself. As she left, Desumi, surprised and amused, thought she nearly had a heart attack, while Judgment reminisced about the day with laughter. The scene shifted towards the cliff where Desumi and Fudo enjoyed some time together, and Desumi playfully asked if he was truly himself. Fudo, confused, joked about her trying to change his face, and Desumi, in a playful moment, pretended to pull on his face. Things took an unexpected turn when Desumi tried to playfully mess with her clothes, leaving Fudo questioning her actions. Embarrassed, Desumi quickly apologized. The scene shifted to the icy mountains, where the Calaverian bear ordered Gecko soldiers to attack the rangers at Mount Takao. In an igloo, Fudo and Desumi had a pleasant time, praising the exceptional coffee. Fudo excitedly shared big news. His hard-worked book, titled Which Insect Would Be Strongest If They Were Giant, was finally getting published. Desumi congratulated him, and Fudo invited her to his book signing the next day. The following day, despite feeling dizzy and faint, Desumi insisted on attending the signing. At school, her friends noticed her unusual condition, and despite their concern, she insisted on going. In the infirmary, Kira took care of Desumi, making her uncomfortable by referring to herself as mommy and trying to feed her. Desumi's friends, worried about her, informed Kijima and Kyoko. Concerned for Desumi's safety, Kijima rushed to the infirmary. Kijima and Kyoko entered, pretending to be ill, but the Blood Princess pressed a button, leading them into a special office. At night, Fudo tried to infiltrate Desumi's school and found her bag in the infirmary. Upon opening the curtains, he saw Desumi in the strange dress and questioned why she was sleeping like that. Desumi woke up and slept on Fudo's lap, asking him to read the book, and he agreed. After some time, Desumi woke up and questioned why she was in that attire, trying to slap Fudo with her pillow. She mentioned being delirious with a fever, and Fudo attempted to check her fever, embarrassing her. Desumi asked about the signing, and Fudo mentioned they didn't get a single customer, almost crying. Desumi suggested that she would get the first autograph, offering the book, and they lived happily. In the Gecko headquarters, where Bossler was laughing, stating that the world would soon belong to Gecko as he had prepared a great monster. The scene then shifted towards Desumi and Fudo. Fudo complimented Desumi's delicious little hamburgers, to which Desumi corrected that they were macarons, and she made lots, so there were plenty more. Fudo mentioned that it looked like he was going to be in another commercial, and Desumi asked about the outline. Fudo revealed it was a bridal theme, making Desumi sad. He explained it was his usual commercial stuff, and Desumi read that the advertisement was about their wedding and the current big star, Hashi Izumi, who mentioned that Red was her favorite member of Gelato 5. Desumi reads the scenes of the commercial where the couple enters the chapel, gazes at each other before the priest, and cuts the cake. The tagline for their big day was to choose Kishimoto weddings. Desumi asked Fudo what that was, and Fudo replied that it was a job he dared not accept. Desumi expressed her disapproval, and Fudo questioned why she was upset, as it was just a commercial. Haru explained that Desumi was upset because she couldn't bear the thought of the person she loved cutting a cake with a total stranger. Feeling remorseful, Fudo decided to correct the situation and bowed down to Professor Gelato in the Gelato headquarters, asking to be withdrawn from the commercial. Professor Gelato questioned why he couldn't do the cake-cutting scene. Fudo explained that Kishimoto Weddings was a crucial sponsor, but he realized he couldn't make Desumi unhappy. He decided to make his cake and do the first cake cutting with Desumi before the commercial was filmed. However, he failed miserably and burned the cake. Desumi grew increasingly anxious with no messages from Fudo for 2 days. At Gecko headquarters, Kijima and Kyoko observed the soldiers sensing Desumi's uneasy aura. Frustrated by Fudo's silence, Desumi vented her feelings, calling him an idiot. In a conference room, commanders unveiled the Ultimate Phantom, a strange creature fueled by human negativity. Desumi, missing the announcement, remained oblivious to the impending chaos. The unleashed Ultimate Phantom wreaked havoc on Gecko headquarters, effortlessly defeating squadron leaders and princesses attempting to stop it. It even absorbed the Calaverian bear and incorporated its cannons. Meanwhile, at Gelato headquarters, Fudo completed making his cake. He calls upon Desumi, but she ignores it. As the director signaled the start of a shoot in Gecko headquarters, Desumi, thinking Fudo would cut the cake with Hashi, felt neglected, ignoring his call. As the Ultimate Phantom approached the city, chaos ensued, distressing Kijima and Kyoko. Fudo attempted to contact Desumi, but she disregarded it, and the shoot commenced. During the shoot, Fudo's thoughts lingered on Desumi as Hashimata noticed Fudo gripping the knife too hard. As the Ultimate Phantom pierced the roof, targeting Fudo, he questioned the monster's identity. Fudo, realizing the monster's connection to Gecko, watched the destruction, including his ruined cake, and collapsed. Fudo's teammates encouraged him to fight, transforming into their suits. A fierce battle unfolded. but the ultimate phantom proved formidable, leaving the outcome uncertain as the heroes struggled against its strength and relentless attacks. Kijima with Kyoko arrived on the scene, and it was announced that Gekko's reinforcement had just arrived. Not only were they facing a furious monster, but the Princess series had also joined in the battle. This might be the greatest crisis Gelato 5 had ever faced. Kyoko said the ultimate phantom would pay for it as she unleashed the iron prison attack on it. And from behind, Kijima tried to claw it but was thrown down by the Great Phantoms. It ate down Steel Princess as Kijima cried down and ran towards it, but the Great Phantom integrated Steel Princess's powers to cage her. The Great Phantom tried to eat the cake and went out of control as its size grew. And meanwhile, Desumi saw the destroyed cake Fudo made for her, feeling quite embarrassed. Seeing a sudden power surge signaled to Fudo the formidable nature of the monster. Professor Gelato acknowledged the necessity of deploying the ultimate weapon, the Combiner Sword Gelato Clay Mode. Although it posed a significant test, they had no alternative. The plan involved combining all their weapons into the Gelato Clay Mode, a strategy unanimously endorsed by the team. However, the Great Phantom took all members hostage, leaving Fudo, visibly wounded, as the only one to confront it. Everyone is surprised, as unexpectedly, Reaper Princess joined forces with Red Gelato, their eternal rivalry set aside for a common goal. Tasumi, acknowledging her earlier selfishness, apologized to Fudo, fearing his resentment. Fudo assured her that he harbored no ill feelings, even under challenging circumstances. As the Grand Phantom unleashed a powerful attack, Tasumi and Fudo effectively defended against it. Encouraged by their friends, they successfully penetrated the Phantom through the sky, likening it to cutting a cake. The Grand Phantom met its demise, freeing their captured teammates. The audience marveled at their performance, and Bear and Kyoko emerged unharmed. The scene shifts to the behind the boulder, where Fudo admits he would have lost without Tasumi's support, to which she humbly thanks him, and as he made them the cake. She would love to eat the next one as the Grand Phantom, in small size, passed towards them, and Tasumi said that it's too small to cause any more harm now. Surprisingly, it called them Mummy and Papa, which greatly embarrassed both of them. Fudo said that this appeared to be a case of mistaken identity, and Tasumi said, "Honestly, what a silly baby." The reporter came running, asking if, after vanquishing the giant monster, a new friendship had sprung up between them, but Tasumi threw away Fudo while the reporter reported that there was no mutual understanding at all. While Fudo said that it's not bad for the Reaper Princess, Tasumi said that friendship is impossible as she is the Reaper Princess, the cold and merciless devil incarnate, and never to forget it. Meanwhile, the Grand Phantom called her mama as Tasumi picked it up and jumped on the boulder. Fudo said to meet again. Reaper Princess, as she said in a time, Red Gelato. This was the story of a hero of justice and a secret society's combatant walking the road of forbidden love as the normal life of each person continued. They looked toward the future, and as Fudo and Tasumi were distant from the peaceful